We're going to start with Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
Evening, Bobby. How are you?
What's up, Dougie?
Not much. Can you, I guess, just without giving any confidential issues away, just sort of walk us through the last 46, 48 hours and how we got to this point?
Yeah, I think I last spoke to you all
Friday.
Before the Friday game. So, been a tough couple of days as we've transitioned from there. And so, to get to here and to be able to practice, obviously we had to clear a number of hurdles. And so, for today, everyone had to undergo, daily testing twice. We tested in the morning. Once that test comes back negative, then we get cleared to practice. Obviously everybody's in, PPE and socially distant and all of that. But I think it takes a number of days. We've had multiple days here with no new cases. I think that's really important. And something the NBA stressed to us that, would allow us to at least get back on the court as a team. So multiple days of no new cases, I think is the big takeaway here.
Is there a chance that the 5 players who will miss tomorrow can play on Thursday? Is that a possibility with more negative tests tomorrow and Thursday morning?
I don't think so, but we'll have to check. I think the length of their protocol will extend past that.
Okay, just one last question. Are you bringing any coaches back from Orlando?
No, but we brought Dante Hall, who we recently signed to a 10-day, and then Jalen Harris, our second-round pick.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Doug. We'll go to Josh Lewinberg from TSN.
Hey, Bobby. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for doing this. You sort of touched on it there, but obviously you guys would have had at least a few players that weren't available on Sunday because of the contact tracing or protocols that are available for tomorrow. I know in some cases in the league this year when there's been players in contact tracing, they've been away from the team for at least 7 days. What went into the process of clearing those guys? Was it just a matter of multiple days of negative tests for them?
Sorry, just so I'm understanding the question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, for the guys that were in contact tracing that wouldn't have been available the other day, what went into the process of clearing them that made the situation, I guess, different than some of the other cases in the league this year where those guys in contact tracing have been away from the team for a week?
I'm not sure I'm exactly following, but I think there's a process to contact tracing, right? And so as you go through it and ask the questions, I think you're either deemed a close contact or not. And so I think obviously the initial test the initial group is going to be a lot larger. And then as you ask more questions, right, and you get more information and you check the connects on detectors, then you get a better sense of how much contact there was. And I think over the course of that process, you're able to put people into different groups.
All right. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Josh. We'll go to Eric Corrine from The Athletic.
Hey, Bobby. Hope you're hanging in there. I know the NBA makes the ultimate decision about whether games are played. I'm just wondering how much they seek your input or opinion, or how much of it is just not like you have X number of players available, you're playing, or you don't and you're not.
Yeah, obviously we trust the NBA, and they've been through this, unfortunately a number of times this year. So I think they have the data and the experience to go and make the decisions for us. So I think they've probably been through a number of, protocols in COVID situations where they're able to give us some insight and say, hey, this is what's happened in the past, or we don't think the player or staff is infectious at this point in time. So they actually inform us more. I think we're here obviously to give them on the ground. There's a ton of, obviously emotional and moral support that we're giving our staff and our players. But a lot of it comes from the NBA. There's not a ton of us, other than administering the test, checking the results, input into having a game played or not.
And you touched on the moral and emotional support. Broad question, but how is the team holding up in that sense, the best you know?
It's difficult because you can't really see people, right? So a lot of it is done via Zoom. So we held the all staff Zoom yesterday just to check on people. And some of it's it's just really basic as seeing everyone's face and, having some laughs and doing that. So nothing super complicated, nothing super, psychological, just actually being there for people and having them know whether they're in quarantine or they're not in quarantine, that they're still part of the team.
Thanks, Bobby. Stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, Eric. We'll go to Michael Grange.
Hi, Bobby. Since Friday night, has anyone with your team been able to do anything basketball related? Or has it been self-quarantine, testing, self-quarantine?
Yesterday they had the opportunity to do 1-on-0 workouts, and I think that's the progression of how this happens. You don't just jump into a full practice like we're having today. So yesterday, after being cleared, 1-on-0 workouts, and the obvious reason for that is if there were to be another positive, then back to the contact tracing point, then there is no contact tracing if someone comes in here all by themselves to work out. So you can kind of imagine the stair step that would happen to get to a point of practicing.
And is there anything about this process now, having gone through it more or less for the first time, that you've learned or come to appreciate, or that you understand differently than you did Thursday, let's say?
You don't ever want to go through it again.
Why? Can you elaborate?
No, I think it's what you can imagine, right? It's the emotional stress of having, colleagues that potentially, obviously could be sick. The enormous amount of kind of stress everyone feels, right? Everyone's walking a bit on eggshells as you're in the locker room, and you can't necessarily be as friendly. So it's just that. And I think, as you talk to teams, and we've talked to a ton of teams who've been there, and fortunately, it seems like we're one of the last ones to go through this. That's what they stress. You're going to get through it. The basketball will go on. You'll play the games. But just to maintain everybody's belonging and familiarity is really important.
Thanks, Bobby.
We'll go to Tim Bontemps from ESPN.
Hey, Bobby, have you gotten any sense, because of the fact that the league is in a bit of a schedule crunch with the second half of the season now out, that there's been any push to try to get these games in because of the obvious difficulties that are going to be ahead for the league and trying to reschedule games going forward?
No, listen, they're smart enough. They have all the algorithms and computers. I'm sure they can figure it out. I do think that this was the first kind of test of that. And so they've, been completely upfront and they know the options for the second half. But no, all of our conversations with them are around health and safety and making sure. I mean, even today, we're sitting here, I don't know what time it is, 7, 8 o'clock at night doing practice. And that's obviously because they want all the protocols in place today to even get to a nighttime practice. So that's always been first and foremost.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Tim. We'll go to Stephen Long from Sportsnet.
Hey, Bobby. Hope you're doing well in these times. I was just kind of along the lines of what Eric was asking. I guess like what is the team's, I guess, desire to play the like tomorrow's game and Thursday's game, given like the situation you guys are under?
Yeah, I just sat through a bit of practice. There's as far as you can imagine, there's actually a ton of energy. I think having everybody essentially quarantined or isolated in your room for 3 days is never fun. But I think from that point, they were happy to see each other. Not a ton of socializing, but there's just a lot of energy out there. And I'm sure you'll talk to Sergio after. But I think there's opportunity for different players.
Great. Thanks a lot, Bobby.
Thanks, Stephen. We'll go to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Bobby. I'm hoping you can help explain sort of what happened after your last game, I guess on Wednesday, and sort of the contact tracing process, how that worked, because not everyone who's out today was out for that game.
Yeah, so I think it was a bit of a benefit of the schedule. So we had a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday was an off day, so there's not a ton of contact tracing going on there anyways because people aren't hanging out. Friday, I don't believe we met until the game. So really then the contact tracing just becomes what happens in that game. But going into the Friday game, we obviously knew that something was going on. So I think everyone took all the precautions there. So now if you get a few more cases, the contact tracing is a lot less for a Thursday and Friday than say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where we're playing games and there's not necessarily that microscope.
And similar to some of the questions asked earlier, do you have any idea if some of these guys will be back after the All-Star break on the 11th, or will they still be in the quarantine process protocols?
Yeah, unfortunately, too early to tell, but I'm sure we'll be sending out updates when we get back.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. We'll go to JC Rivas from Agencia FA.
Thank you, Bobby. Are you changing, or are you going to change anything in the way that the team is operating to try to avoid this situation to repeat itself in the future?
I don't think it's anything too complicated or rocket science. I think as we are learning to live with this virus, I think it's the things that you hear from public health, which is wear your mask, socially distant, don't gather in small spaces. I think that's it, and maybe more of it's enforcement and just sort of a keener eye towards it, as opposed to anything new or anything really groundbreaking.
So looking forward, there is not going to be changes, basically. Yes, to keep doing the right thing.
Correct. Yeah. No, there hasn't been an edict from the NBA to change this or that. It's just continue to do the things that we're doing, or being a bit more diligent about it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby. We've got one more for you. The last individual there, I can't see your screen name. If you could just identify yourself with your name and affiliation first.
Yeah, Kevin Lewis. I'm from WFTS. My computer
Thank you.
won't rename. Sorry.
Perfect.
In Tampa. Your Emily Arena roommate, the Lightning head coach John Cooper said, somebody asked him a few days ago about, how things are going, and for you guys having to relocate, having to go through blah blah all this stuff. This chapter of the book of kind of what you expected, is this what you've expected through the first half, quote unquote, of the season?
No, I don't think we could have expected this, but I hear what you're getting at, and I think we've, specifically as it relates to this COVID incident for us, I think we knew it was probably only a matter of time, and we were as diligent as we can. It's on the point of sharing an arena with the Lightning. We're all kind of two ships passing in the night. They're there one night, we're there the next night, but there's not a ton of overlap. So yeah, we know we're sharing a space with another tenant, but you don't necessarily feel that a ton now. But no, it's if you ask me what am I going to expect for the second half, I have no idea. So maybe in a couple months I'll have a better picture.
And is there maybe not a better time, I don't say to take a break for the All-Star break, but maybe to catch your breath a little bit after all the travel changes and plans and all that, just to maybe reset just a little, considering everything going on?
Definitely. I think we felt like we were almost, to the midpoint finish line, I guess. And, hopefully we get a benefit of having that time off and having guys recharge, and some of our staff as well. So, we still have 2 more games here, so we'll get through those, but, definitely the light at the end of the tunnel.
Sorry, Bobby. One more for you. We'll go back to Eric quickly.
Sorry, I'll keep it real quick.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure the coaches who missed the game on Friday, are they still unavailable?
Yeah, still in protocol.
And are there any other staff members who would usually be on the bench that won't be able to be there?
I think you'll find out tomorrow. I think there's one additional.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bobby. Those are all the hands I see for you.